Hey, Mike Callahan here. Wanted to welcome everybody back to Callahan's Corner, where you ask the questions and we answer them live here on Facebook. So today's submitted question was actually going out and how to set up holiday lights in your business. So middle of July right now, probably no one in the right mind is normally thinking holiday lights, but this is the ideal time, in my opinion, to start laying some of the foundations of some of those fall and mid-fall services, such as holiday lights. So what we're going to do today on today's Callahan's Corner is go in and show you how to build out holiday light estimates inside Service Autopilot. So as normal, I'm going to pop the screen open and show you how it's done. So as I'm doing this, if you have any questions on the live or recorded version, as always, we will answer those. Or if you have any questions in your service business, how to get things to operate appropriately and possibly set them up in Service Autopilot, we're here to help. So first thing we're going to do is go into Service Autopilot. We're in one of our test accounts, and we're going to go out and build out our services. So obviously, if you're in the holiday lights, you know that you traditionally are going to be going out and setting up C9 bulbs, whether it's LED or traditional lights. And those are going to be around the roof lines and other such areas. So first thing we want to do is go in and go to Services. And we're going to go in and add a service. So the first thing we're going to do here is move my notepad so we can actually see. And we are going to go in and create our C9 service. So I'm just going to put 00 in front of it so I can find it on the Facebook Live a little bit easier. But I'm going to put a new C9 installation. And for time's sake, I'm just going to copy and paste that into the code, invoice description. We're going to say it's taxable here, and our service mode is going to be per unit. Our account, we would go in and assign it to the appropriate chart of accounts here. In this test account, I'm just going to call property maintenance. And then we're going to go into estimate. We're going to create an estimate description. And then under the rate matrix, we want to go in and set up the rate matrix. So the first thing that we traditionally want to do before we go in is go in and create a custom field. So I did not do that. So I'm going to save this here and show you the how to add those custom fields. And we're going to add them all in right now. So what we're going to do is going to go in this base example, I'm going to say linear feet of C9. Now you could do this for roof. You can do it for trees, branches, shrub wraps, or shrub balls. You want to make the custom field appropriate to the different areas you're measuring. But for this example, I'm going to say linear feet of C9, and we're just going to assume that all we do is roof lines. Value, it's going to be associated to the customer. Value type is going to be a number, so we can do calculations. And I'm going to hit save and new. So we've taken care of the lights in this example, and now I'm going to put number of .36-inch reefs. Once again, associated to the customer, and it's a number. So I think that is, I'm just taking a look at my notes. I think those are the basic ones that we're going to need right now just for this example. But we're going to show you how to handle the setup, the takedown, the storage, and a new or existing setup, because obviously those are going to be different. It takes a lot longer to do the initial setup than it does the reinstall the following year. So we want to go back in then. I'm going to grab my C9 service and continue to build that out. And we are going to go in and grab our C9 bulb. C9 new installation, that's our original one that we had already started here before I forget to create all the custom fields. And that's always the first step. You want to create your custom fields, create your services, and then create your packages. That's kind of the direction from top to bottom. So our rate matrix here, we're going to go in and grab the linear feet of C9. And what I'm going to say is from 1 to 1 foot, I'm going to charge $6.25. And for the new install, I'm going to make it 0.08 man hours, and whatever that is going to cost me per labor and materials right here. So that's how you would set that cost up. And then I'm going to go in and do each additional foot at $6.25 and additional 0.08 man hours. And let's just say we've got about a 50% profit margin here. So we're going to go out and make this $3.25 per linear feet. Now, what you want to do is pay attention here too, is if you are either leasing out those lights, they got about a 3-year lifespan on them, you'd want to include the cost of those lights for the new install here. Now, you could spread it across the 3 years or an upfront cost in year 1. Traditionally, most people absorb that cost in year 1. So what we've done is we've got our new install of C9, and then I'm going to hit Save and New, and then we're going to go in and put a existing C9 install, because they're going to be 2 different services. And why you want them to be 2 different services, we're going to create 2 different packages, and the budgeted time is going to be different. Traditionally 45 to 50% less time. So we want to be able to count that for our job costing. And in estimates, obviously for time's sake, I'm just copying and pasting these here. And then our rate matrix, quantity rate times visits. And once again, that's linear feet of C9 and 1-to-1, and we still have $6.25 per linear feet, but the budget hours, instead of being 0.08 now, is half of that, 0.04. And then that is going to go in and update here. And we can add our budgeted cost, say maybe $2.25 for each existing linear foot after year number 1. So now we've gone in and we've created our linear foot pricing for either new and existing. And now I want to go in and create our second example of wreaths. So we're going to go in and do our 09 new wreath install. And if you're wondering here, just for time's sake, I'm creating the invoice and estimate description. But when we go into the actual package itself, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks to make this look a little bit better. Service mode is per unit. And then our rate matrix, we're going in and doing quantity rate times visits. And we're going to do the number of wreaths. So for each wreath, 1-to-1 is going to be a rate of, let's say, $165. And we're going to give them 1.2 hours for the first time, and it's costing us, say, $55. Then each additional wreath over the first one is in 165, 1.2 hours, and $55. So this is for our new wreath service here. And we are going to make one for the existing. So we've got our existing wreath install. We need to go in and do our per units. We need a code, invoice description, account, estimate description, and rate matrices. So we're going in quantity rate times visits. Once again, number of wreaths. And this is for the existing. So we've already incorporated the cost of that wreath from the first. And we're going to be going in, and we're still charging $165. Budgeted hours is now 1 hour instead of 1.2, and let's say it's $50. And we're going to save. So now what we've done is created the custom fields for the linear length of C9s. We've created the custom field for the wreaths. They're both been associated to the customer and our number. We've gone and created new and existing setups for the C9 installs and the wreaths. Obviously, there's some other services that would go in there, but this is going to give you the basic idea of how to set this up here on the Facebook Live. So the next thing you're probably going to do is go in and go to the gear icon and create a package. And that's going to be another master package. And we're going to go in and label this 00 dot new install C9. You're going to want to make one of these for the new install and the re-existing. So I'm going to show you how this looks right here. And actually, what I'm going to do, just so we can connect all the dots, I'm going to create one more service for the takedown so you can actually see what this looks like. So we've created the new install, the existing install, and I'm also going to create a service for the takedown. So it doesn't matter if it's new or existing. Now we've got new, existing, and the takedown for new or existing. And that custom field of linear feet is still going to be the same. And this is maybe takedown / storage. Some companies we work with like to break up the storage as a separate unit, but we can, this example here, we can make it like this. So now that we have the takedown set up here, we're going to go in and build out the rate tree matrix. And then once again, it's quantity rate times visits. And it's going to be based on the linear feet of lights, because it doesn't really matter if we're putting them up or taking them down. That's the quantity of lights that we are going to be taking care of here. And what you're going to notice here is traditionally when we set this up, there is no price because we build that all up front, but we do still want to account for the budgeted hours. And 0.02 is about an average for taking those lights down per linear foot. So once again, the price is 0, but we want to track the budgeted time, budget versus actual here. And there is going to be a cost as well. So maybe it is 50 cents per linear foot of overhead. And we're going to save a new, and we're going to do another one for taking down of those reefs. So we've done the new and existing. We need to go in and take down 36-inch reef. All right, so we've got your information here. We're going to go into estimates. And our rate matrix, quantity rate times visits, 36-inch reefs. And then once again, there's going to be no price on this because it's the takedown, but we are going to want to put a budgeted time in there and maybe a cost. So each additional reef is an extra 0.25, basically 15 minutes. So once we go, now that we've got all those services, we can go back up to our gear icon, master packages, and build out the packages to be able to actually route this stuff. Let's see if we save that last one. We did not. So we're going to go in and add that package. We'll call it C9 holiday lights. Set a renewal date, so probably right around now would be a good time. So let's call it the week after 4th of July. We're going to renew those. And now we've got our 00 existing or new C9 install, so new. And depending on how you're setting these up, you can break them up in new and existing packages separately. That's traditionally how we see with most larger companies. There are use cases where you may want to put them all together in the package, but traditionally you're going to do each package new and existing and take down as separate packages. So you're going to go in, so we've got new C9 installation. And you're going to have new C9 takedown as well. Takedown and storage. And traditionally, we're going to be looking at it. So we're going to set the dates here. For the earliest, you'd be able to put those lights up, and then the latest you put the light up. Now, depending if you start as early as, let's just say, October or early September, you may have another package item here to actually go in and turn the lights on with a timer. So that would be appropriate. But this is a real basic example we're going to go into here. So I'm going to go in and say, okay, based on September 1st is the earliest, and then say December 15th is the latest we'd want those lights up. And then based on Christmas, we could go December 26th is the earliest we take them down, and maybe the latest is going to be January 31st. Be aware of that year there, because that will get you every time, in my opinion. So now what we've done is we've done our new installation between 9/1 and 12/15, and our takedown of new installation here between 12/26 and 1/31. So now that we've gone in, we've done the new setup. So I want to save the changes. And then I'm going to add another package for the existing setup. So this is going to be our existing C9 light. So we've created the new. Now this is the existing. The renewal date is going to be exactly the same. So we're going to call it July 6th. And then we've got our C9 existing install. And we're going to set the dates once again for the beginning of September. Call it September 1. And all the way up to December 15th. And then we're going to add in our C9 takedown storage. That can be the same. Doesn't matter if they're new or existing. And same thing here. We're going to go in and grab day after Christmas and into 2021. We're going to give them up to January 31st. Minimum days, default budget hours, and default budgeted rate are not really needed. Now, once you have these packages set up, best practice with SimpleGrowth that we recommend here is clicking here, and this can override the estimate description on the service level. And you click use an estimate description, and that's a way to override that, as well as you can go into the estimate grid and manipulate the way the service or estimate descriptions are shown. So if you're using this internal language of existing C9 install and C9 takedown storage, if you don't want that to be viewable to the client, we can manipulate on the estimate grid the estimate description being the actual service name on there. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. But the idea here is you've set this up so you would do your C9s, your wreaths, any like trunk wraps, tree wraps, anything like that, but you want to have new and existing and break those up. So any comments or questions on the live stream, I'm here to answer them for sure. Final part here is when you go into the gear icon and go into estimate grid, it's going to give you the ability to add your own grid. And a lot of times things like quantity and certain things like that, we probably are going to remove that and remove the rate. But we could do is go in now and add service name or invoice description. These are areas that we can go in and manipulate. So if we didn't like the name or description of the service, we can go in and remove it. Where's it? Name / description. So we can actually, there's name description. There it is. So we can go in and take the amount, an invoice description, and maybe estimate description could be the two things that we've actually manipulated either on the service level or the package level. And then we could just go, instead of saying estimate description, I could say service description. So there's some ways there to manipulate those grids to make it portray what you want, but you still can have your standard naming convention on the back end of the service that makes sense to your internal estimators in the office and in the field. So that's one way of tackling that there. And there's some additional formatting here. Always recommend, just so there's no sticker shock, take the tax off and the grand total and subtotal, and have a little disclaimer at the bottom if you guys and girls do charge sales tax. We have that in the estimate documents. So that's going to cover you there. Now, the final thing is, in my opinion, probably just workflow is if we go into marketing forms, we're going to go in and we'll try our hand at V3 forms here, but I started a holiday light one just so I had it ready to go. And once you go into the holiday light form or create your own, this is basically what it looks like. So main thing you want to do is add your name in. We'll add that up. So this is the client's name. Actually, I'm going to delete this out here so we have a fresh start. So we client's first name, last name. And we're going to go in and add address, which is going to be the service address. And maybe a phone number if we needed to get a hold of them. Email and phone number. We're going to want our cell phone in case we're out there and we have any questions, or maybe they have a dog in the yard. Idea is we're going to create this form. This is going to be our on-site estimate form. So this is when we're walking around and we pull out our mobile phone or tablet and we start typing in the estimate variables. So as we go in, we're going to go in and add a field. And the first field we're going to drop in the existing example that we're using is going to be our number field. And when we click in that, I'm going to go in and label it here. Number of linear feet C9. As you measure that roof line, that's the number you would just plug in. And you can change any of the descriptions. So maybe this is roof line only, so the estimator knows. And where it says enter number, you can change that here. That's appropriate for what's going on here. So, and then what we're going to do is make this a required field. If you're always doing linear feet of C9, if not, we can leave it non-required. Main thing is under field mapping, we want to go in and grab our custom field number and associate it to our linear feet C9. Then the next thing we're going to do is add a field, and we're going to do another number. And we are going in to label that again. Number of 36-inch crease. And we're going to go in and field map that back to a custom field number. And we're going to do that for number of 36-inch reefs. So now, once we have this, obviously there's a lot more functionality in this V3 form that we can go into on different videos, but the idea is we're going to go in and hit next. This is the form submission for your employee that knows it's been taken care of. We're going to hit next again. We're going to make this available in the mobile and office. And we're going to make it available for all accounts. Which accounts should use this? All. Which roles? All. And is this form required to be filled out? Automatically, no. So we're going to hit publish. If there's any issues, it would come up and alert you. Obviously, this is a really basic setup of a form, so we're good to go. And then, based on one of the previous just happened V3 releases, I want to show you how to connect your V3 on-site estimate form to a client or lead. This only needs to be done once, but it's important to show you that when you're in the account screen here, that we should be able to connect this here. So what we're going to do is go back to V2. And pull up a client. So this is our V2 screen. There's an A for auto assist. Now I'm not sure if this is going to be pulled over to V3, but they did just give us the ability to attach a V3 form in version 2. So one would assume that at some point you may have this access, but not too sure and haven't got word from SA on that. But what you're going to do then is once this loads, we're going to go in and hit the icon here to add an actual form, and then we can go in and grab that V3 form and add that right on here. So we've got our on-site estimate form, and that's the idea. It all pops in here, but I'm going to go and do a holiday light form here. So I'm going to add a form, and then I'm going to go in and name it, and this is going to be our on-site holiday form, and we'll be able to work this form on site. So once this loads, we should be good to go. Any comments or questions, drop them below, but I'm happy to answer them here on the live or recorded version. So we've got our forms. We've got our holiday light form. And Just going to grab an icon, and it's called holiday light form. Save, and now once we go in, this will always be here in live in the mobile or in the desktop. We hit that form, and then our form loads. All the information is automatically loaded in here, so there's no double entry. And then the consumer would automatically just enter the number of linear feet for C9. Maybe it's 150 feet, and we have 3 36-inch wreaths. Once we hit submit, it's on the file, and then we can go down and hit add an estimate. And if we had that an estimate template, that's how we would handle a holiday light estimate in Service Autopilot. So comments, questions, drop them below. Callahan's Corner. You ask the questions. We answer them live right here on Facebook.